If you don't have friends, there's a 73% chance you have at least 3 of these traits. And no, it's not what you think. Here's what nobody tells you. Some people aren't lonely by accident. They're lonely by design. Not because they're broken, but because their brain is wired differently. And psychology has finally cracked the code. These aren't the usual, you're just shy explanations. These are the dark, uncomfortable truths about why certain personality types repel connection even when they desperately want it. Let's dive in. Trait number 1. You're stuck in observation mode while everyone else is living. People without friends don't just have conversations, they perform autopsies on them. You said, hey, at 3:47 p.m. They replied at 3:52. 5-minute gap. What does that mean? Did you sound too eager? Not eager enough? Should you have used an exclamation point? This is called hyperactive social monitoring, and it's psychological quicksand. Your prefrontal cortex is working overtime analyzing microexpressions, tone shifts, and subtext that probably doesn't even exist. You think you're being socially intelligent. You're actually being socially paralyzed. Here's the brutal part. While you're replaying that conversation for the 47th time, everyone else has moved on. They're not analyzing. They're connecting. And that's the difference.
Connection requires presence. You're too busy being a detective to be a friend. The irony? The smarter you are, the worse this gets. High IQ individuals are 40% more likely to overthink social interactions. Your intelligence becomes your prison. Trait number 2. You can smell fake from a mile away, and it's ruining your life. You know that person who laughs too loud at jokes that aren't funny, who posts inspirational quotes but treats waiters like garbage, who says, we should totally hang out, but never means it? Yeah, you see right through them. And once you see it, you can't participate. Psychologists call this high Machiavellian perception, the ability to detect social manipulation and performance. Sounds like a superpower, right? It's actually a curse. Because modern friendship runs on a certain amount of performance. Small talk, polite lies, fake enthusiasm about someone's boring story. You refuse to play that game. You don't laugh at bad jokes. You don't pretend to care about things that bore you. You don't validate people just because they need it. And people feel that. They call you intimidating or hard to read or too intense. Translation: you make them work too hard to impress you. Here's the kicker. You're not trying to be difficult.
You're just allergic to bullshit. But in a world where social bonding is 60% bullshit, that allergy leaves you alone. Trait number 3. You're so independent, you've made yourself irrelevant. Most friendships are built on need. Someone needs advice. Someone needs validation. Someone needs a ride to the airport. But you don't need anyone. You solve your own problems. You regulate your own emotions. You're a one-person army. Psychology calls this dismissive attachment style. You learned early that relying on others leads to disappointment, so you stopped relying. Smart move for survival, terrible move for connection. Because here's what you don't realize. People don't just want to be around you. They want to matter to you. When you never ask for help, never show vulnerability, never admit you're struggling, you rob people of the chance to be significant in your life. You think you're being strong, they think you don't need them, and slowly, without drama or confrontation, they stop trying. Not because they don't like you, but because you've made it clear you don't need them. And humans are wired to invest where they feel needed.
Let's continue with trait number 4, the individualist's dilemma. Trait number 4, you think for yourself, and it's making you an outsider. Everyone's watching the same show. Everyone's following the same trend. Everyone's repeating the same opinions. And you're sitting there thinking, but why? You don't follow crowds. You don't adopt beliefs just because they're popular. You question everything. This is low social conformity, and it's both your greatest strength and your deepest isolation, because friendship is tribal. People bond over shared interests, shared beliefs, shared behaviors. When you refuse to mirror the group, you break the bonding mechanism. You're not trying to be contrarian. You're just being honest.
But honesty without conformity reads as arrogance. When everyone's excited about something and you're skeptical, you're not the critical thinker, you're the buzzkill. When everyone agrees and you push back, you're not the independent mind, you're the difficult one. Studies show that people with high individualism have 35% fewer close friendships, not because they're unlikable, but because they're unmimicable. And people bond through mimicry. Neuroscience reveals something disturbing. When you disagree with a group, their brains literally process you as other. fMRI scans show that nonconformists activate the same neural regions as physical threats. You think you're just being yourself. Their brain thinks you're dangerous. And the worst part? The more intelligent you are, the more you question.
Which means the smarter you get, the more threatening you become to average social circles. Your IQ is inversely proportional to your friend count. Now for trait number 5, the emotional translation error. Trait number 5, you care deeply, but nobody can tell. You'd help a friend move, you'd lend money, you'd show up in a crisis. But ask you to express how you feel? Crickets. This is emotional reciprocity deficit, and it's friendship poison. You think being reliable is enough. It's not. People need emotional feedback. They need to hear, "I missed you," or "that hurt me," or "I'm proud of you." You think those words are obvious. They're not. And when people don't hear them, they assume you don't feel them. This often ties to alexithymia, a difficulty identifying and expressing emotions. You process feelings internally, slowly, privately. By the time you're ready to share, the moment's passed. Your friend needed to hear, "I care," 3 weeks ago. You're ready to say it now. Too late. The tragedy, you're not emotionally unavailable. You're emotionally delayed. But in real-time relationships, delayed feels the same as absent.
Here's what makes this brutal. Studies show that people judge emotional availability within the first 7 seconds of interaction. 7 seconds! You need 3 weeks to process your feelings. They need 7 seconds to feel them. It's not a personality flaw. It's a processing speed mismatch. You're running on dial-up in a 5G world. And by the time you've carefully formulated the perfect way to express care, they've already decided you don't have any. The relationship ends not because you didn't care, but because you cared too carefully. So, here is the uncomfortable truth. Here's what nobody wants to admit. You didn't lose friends because you're broken. You lost them because you're incompatible with how most people do friendship. You value depth over frequency, truth over comfort, quality over quantity. And that's rare. Most people collect friends like Pokemon cards. You're looking for something real. Most people bond through shared entertainment. You bond through shared values. Most people need constant contact. You need occasional depth. You're not defective. You're just operating on a different frequency. And yes, that frequency is lonelier, but it's also more honest.